Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Stews here, and welcome back to another video. With the release of The Lord Rings The War of the Rohirrim, I am here today to do a ranking of all 7 Middle-earth movies from weakest to best. Now, this is one of the greatest franchises of all time to me. This is a top 3 franchises of all time. And this is probably one of the most consistent franchises of all time. As I thought, every single film, every single installment is great. Even the weakest one is still like a great film. And yeah, this is a franchise that truly means a lot to me. Yeah, this is the true definitive fantasy franchise ever. Move aside Harry Potter. So yeah, now without further ado, if you want to know what I consider the weakest and the best Middle Earth movie and how exactly I rank them in order, then just keep watching. At number 7, the weakest Middle Earth film for me is The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Yeah, now this has always been my least favorite ever since the beginning. But this movie has certainly grew and grew and grew on me. The more times I rewatched this. When I first saw this movie as a kid for the very first time, I hated this movie. I thought this movie was really bad. It was such a chore to sit through, and I thought that I would never have to watch this again. But fast forward to 2020, I gave this movie a second chance, and I liked it. I found new appreciation for it. 2022 again, same thing. And then this year, once again, the film grew on me, and now I think it's a great film. Sure, yes, I would agree with everyone else that the first act was a slog to get through. I mean, we can all agree on that. Even Chris Stuckman himself will also criticize the first act for being a slog to sit through. And yeah, after 1 hour into the film, it becomes a fantastic movie. Yeah, it becomes truly, truly great. The action scenes are spectacular. The visual effects are a step up for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but still great looking. Bilbo's a better protagonist than Frodo, in my opinion. And I think the Gollum scene is what made the film truly great. And Gollum wasn't just a fan service character; he was truly a character in the book, even though he was just in one scene. Even if this is the weakest one, I still think it's truly great, and that goes to show how much this franchise is just so good. At number 6, The Hobbit: The Battle of the Five Armies. It is probably, I feel like this film is not as hated as it used to be anymore. Mainly due to the fact that I guess people now people no longer consider this the worst Middle Earth film, but they still do think it's the worst of the Peter Jackson Hobbit films. Initially I called this the best Hobbit film in my outdated review of the film, but in my updated review I said that this isn't a flawless film and not my favorite Middle Earth film. Mainly due to the fact that the ending did not stick the landing for me. I thought the ending was lackluster, and there was no emotional weight to it, and it was rushed. Even the extended edition did not fix that ending. But this is such an epic film. This tries to replicate what Return of the King did. And while it didn't fully succeed at being the new Return of the King, it certainly had action scenes that are just as massive in scale as Return of the King. And if you watch this movie without watching Return of the King, you should you probably might view this as the biggest movie ever, the grandest in scale, and think that the Return of the King cannot possibly go bigger than this. While Return of the King is the grander film. This probably does feel like super grand, even grander without Return of the King. Return of the King makes this look smaller scaled in comparison. This film has the best opening scene in the entire franchise. The Smaug burning down Lake Town. It's not, and it's actually my favorite scene in the entire Hobbit trilogy in general. So there's that. So yeah, yeah, this movie is badass. Yes, it's over the top, but honestly, I don't care. Yeah, I will defend this movie to the day I die, and it is certainly the most underrated movie of 2014. At number five, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Okay, now we're getting into the masterpieces. Yeah, I'll admit that I did overpraise this film in my review, like saying that it's just as good as Fellowship of the Ring, and admittedly, I only praise this film just because it has a tie in to War of the Rohirrim, since this film does introduce us to the things that War of the Rohirrim is about, with the Rohan army, the Battle of Rohan, Helm's Deep, and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, there's that. But yeah, I will say that Two Towers is not really a film I either revisit that often. And in my review of the film, I called it my second favorite movie of 2012, no, 2002, I mean, behind the Spirited Away. But yeah, now I would consider it as my fourth favorite movie of 2020, of 2002, behind Spirited Away, Spider-Man, and Little Stitch. Yeah, yeah, Spider-Man being my second favorite film that year, and Little Stitch third. But yeah, this film is still epic either way. Yeah, the Frodo and Sam's journey, like, great continuation. Although the Rohan aspects of it, the Helm's Deep, and the Battle of the Rohirrim is the better aspect of the film, and of course the War at Helm's Deep. I mean, one of the most iconic action scenes ever for a reason. But I'd say that calling it the best action scene in the entire Middle Earth is an overstatement, but it does deserve to be seen as epic, because it truly is epic. At number four, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Yeah, I know. Putting a Hobbit film above a Lord of the Rings film, that's ridiculous. But honestly, I don't care. I love this film to death. This movie is fucking awesome and epic. Yeah, in fact, this is actually the one Lord of the Rings film. No, sorry, the one Hobbit film that actually feels like a Lord of the Rings film in quality wise. Like, it's just as good as your typical Lord of the Rings film. Yeah, this movie is filled with action, and it's the pacing of this film is so fast. I mean, even for a 2 hours and 40-minute movie, it goes by really quickly. I mean, you got such great action scenes, like the barrel action scene, and the Battle of Lake Down action scenes, the Battle of Lake Down, and especially the Smaug action scene. Yeah, the Battle of Lake Down is the best action scene to me, because of how Lake Down looks so perfect for an action set piece and all that stuff. And yeah, I love seeing the introduction of Legolas into the Hobbit trilogy, and also Tariel, a new character who is not wasted at all. And yeah, Smaug is the greatest fictional dragon like ever put to film, and he is certainly the best character in the Hobbit trilogy. And this does have a very complex story with complex character arcs. It's not just all big battles, big dragon, big orc fights, and all that stuff. So yeah, I love this one to death, and I will defend this movie to the day I die. Sure, it is the fan. I mean, we can all agree that it's the best Hobbit film, but calling it the better than one of the Lord of the Rings films, yeah, that is a controversial take right there. And speaking of controversial takes, at number three, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, the latest Lord of the Rings film. Yeah, this is probably the most controversial placement on the list, because people say that this is the worst Lord of the Rings film yet, and as this is the one Lord of the Rings film to not be directed by Peter Jackson, and all that stuff, yeah, this movie is hated by Lord of the Rings fans. Now there are a few tiny bit of people who actually like this film and would give it a positive review, but yeah, a vast majority of the people, like they really despise this film. Like they say that, oh, it's unnecessary. Oh, the animation is cheap and lazy. Oh, Hera Hammerhead is just another girl boss bullshit. Like it's woke. Yeah, I mean seriously. Like come on, guys. Like why this movie hated? I worked so hard to get people to want to see this to actually support this film. I mean, I did that with Wicked, and it worked because Wicked has not only does Wicked have rave reviews, but it's even like a major awards contender. It's pretty much the Barbie of the year. But with Lord of the Rings, yeah, it went the Furiosa route, but worse because yeah, now this movie is gonna be, not only is this movie gonna be a major box office flop, but now it has a bad reviews with critics. And yeah, this, yeah, for an animated film, this movie truly pushes the boundaries of animation. It's absolutely epic as hell. It's one of the most ambitious animated films I've ever seen. And despite this being an animated film, it does not tone down the violence of the Lord of the Rings, because there is still blood. There's still plenty of like major, big, massive action scenes, and even like a lot of characters get killed off. Like there's like this one brutal death. Well, I already said it in my full review, but yeah, that one death scene, I cannot stop thinking about that even as of now. Yeah, and Hera Hammerhand is the best. The best Lord of the Rings character yet. Like she is just not only my Lord of the Rings crush, but also just a perfect girl boss character. And yeah, Wolf is one of the best Lord of the Rings antagonists, and the animation is gorgeous. Like it's anime. Maybe that's why it doesn't appeal to people, and people see the animation as bad because it's an anime, and it's surely not for everyone. Yeah. This movie is just, yeah, it's epic. Like it's epic as hell. So yeah, and I will defend this movie to the day I die. Most underrated movie of 2024. Well, it's either that, Joker 2, or Moana 2. I'll have to debate on that, but we'll see about that. But yeah, it definitely deserves to be in the top 3 because it is just that good. At number 2, the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, the one that started it all. Yeah, the one ring to rule them all. Yeah, the Fellowship of the Ring is such a perfect start to this amazing franchise. What a masterpiece that this film is, and my best friend from high school considers this as his favorite film of all time, and I can totally see why. And the story is very simplistic. Honestly, maybe the best. I think it might have the best story out of them. That's actually why I had to put the Fellowship of the Ring in the top 2, because it has the best storyline of them all. A very simple story about Frodo and Sam leaving to go on an adventure to destroy the One Ring, and meeting people out of the way who are meeting people on the way. Yeah, I mean, so yes, it's not as complex, but probably just story wise, like what I said, it does have my favorite plot in this in this film. And yeah, it has an engaging first act that sets up the journey and gets straight into the point. I love all the characters, all the performances, the visuals are great, and just everything. And even like and even an emotional ending where Sam swears to Frodo that he would not leave him at all times, and yeah, that was great. And even as some like iconic quotes too, like "You shall not pass." Yeah, that's one of the greatest lines in cinematic history. Period. And there's like so many great characters to choose from. I still cannot decide on who truly is my favorite. Fellowship of the Ring character. So yeah, I mean, of course, well, I get why. I know some people would consider this as their number one, but I can see why. But I think you already know what's gonna be number one in this list, and the number one best Middle Earth movie is The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. Was there any doubt? Yeah, even like before War of the Rohirrim, like War of the Rohirrim could have been the second best, could have been the second best Middle Earth movie. Yeah, and maybe one day it could. One day it could, but there was no way it was topping this one. There was no way, hell, because Return of the King is not only the best Middle Earth film, but it is in my top four favorite films of all time. Maybe one day I could consider Middle Earth to be my second favorite franchise of all time behind the Frozen franchise, because this film is honestly better than all of the MCU movies combined, and yeah, this is the central reason as to why I love this franchise. And is there anything else I need to say? I mean, do I need to explain why this is the greatest film, like the greatest Middle Earth film of all time? It's pretty much the biggest and grandest in scale like a movie has ever gotten. Like even if Endgame tried to replicate this movie's scale, this movie still remains to this day the grandest one. Like the action scenes aren't just as big as ever; they're like literally nonstop. It's like some of the fastest 3.5 hour run I have ever seen. And it's even like emotional by the end. It captures every single emotion from the audience, whether it's cheerful or sad or angry, and yeah, this is one of the most acclaimed films of all time, and rightfully so. And this film winning Best Picture at the Oscars, like one of the greatest Oscar wins of all time. Like the decision to make a sequel, like win Best Picture, a blockbuster, is something that's truly unforgettable. Like, so, and that is why The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is easily, emphasis on easily, the best Middle Earth movie of all time, and nothing is gonna come close to this. So also for my ranking of all Middle Earth films, what is your ranking of them? Would you agree with me that An Unexpected Journey is the weakest Middle Earth film, or would you consider either Battle of the Five Armies or War of the Rohirrim as the weakest, just like others? Well, I mean, I'm sure we can all agree that Return of the King is the best Middle Earth film. But would you say that would you consider another Lord of the Rings film, Middle Earth film, to be better than the Return of the King? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos to come. I may do a review of The Lion King 2 Simba's in preparation for Mufasa The Lion King, but if I have time. So yeah, bye guys.